and welcome to my channel, or if this is the first video of mine you are seeing, then welcome. It is time for my everyday makeup drawer for the month of June. So I want to go through all of my products, and this time I will actually be picking out eyeshadow palettes now that I have done both my high-end and drugstore eyeshadow palette declutter videos. So if all that sounds interesting, let's go ahead and get started. Okay, the first thing though I had in my last makeup drawer were these two from Refi. I had the Refi brow pencil and then the Refi brow gel. I am going to be putting the pencil back, but I am going to be leaving the gel in my makeup drawer simply because I feel like I'm about to get an empty with this and I'd like to continue using it till I finish this one up. So I am going to keep this one in my drawer this time. Okay, then I keep my brow products in this little container here. So I am going to actually use this one from CoverGirl. This is their CoverGirl Clean Fresh Brow. This is the clear one, and this was newer to me, so that's the reason why I'm picking this one as well. I'm going to include that one with the Refi. And then for my pencil, I'm going to use this one right here from CoverGirl. This one is also newer to me. This is the CoverGirl Clean Fresh Brow, and this one is in dark brown. This one has like the little brush tip on the other side, which I'm not the biggest fan of, but it is a nice pencil. So it has a little more triangular shape to it. They do have like a micro brow pencil, I believe, also in this line, but this is the only one that I have, so I'm going to be including this one. For last month, these were the two primers I had in there, the Laura Geller Spackle Hydrating Primer and the e.l.f. Liquid Poreless Putty Primer, so I'm going to be putting this one back, and I keep my primers in this little drawer right here. So I think I'm actually going to use this one first. This is the e.l.f. Stay Cool Primer Stick. I really do like this actually, but I haven't used it much. If I can get the little top off here. It is actually cooling, but now I think it would benefit from being placed into like a skincare fridge or something. So on days where I plan to use it, I definitely will be putting it in the refrigerator first because I think that would help it even more so, but I don't have any thoughts on it yet really, so I want to continue using it, and since it's new, I'm going to include it this month. Okay, and then let's see here. I have so many from e.l.f. that I just have laying flat here. You know what? I think I might do... Well, let's do the Jelly Pop one. How about that? Yeah, let's do the e.l.f. Jelly Pop Dew Primer. I know they just recently brought this back again for the summertime. It is a good one, but this is one that I have to make sure that I remember to use it at the very beginning of my makeup step. Otherwise, I feel like my foundation doesn't lay as well over the top of this, so I'm going to be getting some more use out of this one, but it has an incredible scent to it. For foundation, the last two I had in my drawer were this Ilia. This is their, I can't remember what they call it, Skin Rewind Complexion Stick, and then we had the Supergoop Protect Tint Daily SPF Tint, so I'm going to be putting these two back. Okay, so for foundation and skin tints, I have this little section here and then this section right here, so I think for the first choice here, I'm going to pick this one from Win Beauty. This is the Hydrating Skin Enhancing Tint SPF 30, and mine is in the shade Decisive 60. And it has like a little pump application. I've only used this just maybe twice, and it is newer to me, so I definitely want to include it this time to get some more of my thoughts on it, but I did really enjoy it the first two times I've used it, so I want to continue getting some use out of that, so I'm going to include this one. Okay, now for my next one, I think I might do another newer one to me, and that would be this one right here. I really love this. This is the About Face Skin Focus Foundation, or the Performer, I think it's called, and mine's in the shade F2 Olive. This is one of the few foundations that I've actually found that has olive undertones in the fair skin range. I know most of the time when you find foundations that have an olive undertone, it's usually in the medium skin tone range, so I was really happy to see this one that has the olive undertone in the fair category because this is like my perfect match. I really love this, and it's a little bit more newer to me, but I've been wearing it quite often and I really do love it, so I am going to be including this one for this month. Okay, the last corrector that I had in here was the Cali Ray Hideaway one. This is the Brightening and Hydrating Under Eye Serum Concealer, and mine was in the shade Cool Sunrise. I love this so very much, and I do have a Sephora order coming to me right now, and I did end up purchasing the shade Pale Sun, so I cannot wait for that one to get here, but I am going to put this one back even though I do not want to. I want to keep it in, but I have other correctors that I need to be using, so I'm going to be replacing this one. Let me zoom you in a little bit more. This right here is where I keep all my correctors and concealers. So let's see. not exactly sure which corrector I want to use. Actually, I think I see one on the bottom here. Yeah, let's use this one. This is from Milani. This is their under eye brightener in the shade Rose. I would really love to get an empty out of this one because you can see that I've used a lot of the products, so I'm going to be including this one for my corrector. And for concealer, I had these two in here last time. I had the new one from Say, which is their Slip Tint Concealer, and then I had this one from Ilia, which is their True Skin Serum Concealer, so I'm going to be placing both of these back. And I believe I know exactly which two I want to use because they are the newest to me, and see one on the bottom here. Yeah, I definitely want to include this one. This is from Win Beauty as well. I'm not sure what this one's called. Okay, I'm not sure the name of this one right off, but it is the only concealer that this brand has, and mine's in the shade Make 15. This shade is a little bit lighter for me, but I'm hoping that when I mix it with my corrector, it will be a better match for me. It's just really light, actually. I was kind of surprised at that. Usually, I end up going the opposite and I get a concealer that's a little too dark. So, but it is a good concealer. I haven't used it much, so that's why I want to include it this time to get more of my thoughts on it, so I'm going to be including this one. Okay, for mascara, I just keep all of my mascaras in my everyday makeup drawer every time. I don't ever keep them in an area like this, so the ones I have open, they're always in there, and I have the one from Refi. This is the waterproof one from Colorspell. That one was sent to me in PR. Then I have the Hard Candy and Girl Scout one, and then this is my recent open. This is the Fenty Beauty one. I think this one's called... yeah, the Hella Thick Volumizing Mascara. That one's a new one to me. I've only used it one time, so I'm just going to be including all 4 of these. And then as for my eyeshadow sticks and kind of like the liner category, I had these from Colorspell. Both of these were sent in PR. I had the Shimmer Shadow Stick in Sparks and the Shimmer Shadow Stick in Pyrite. These are not my favorite. They do crease. I've noticed that every time I used them, they would crease a little bit on my eyes. I mean, they're not bad. They're not the worst things I've used, but they're definitely not my favorite when it comes to eyeshadow sticks. But I'm going to be putting these 2 back, and we're going to be picking out maybe at least one new one. Okay, so this is where I keep like my liners and my eyeshadow sticks. I keep them in this one. Oh, and this is a liquid eyeshadow. Not sure why I have that one in here. Okay, let's see. Okay, I think instead of eyeshadow sticks, I'm going to pick some liners. So, let's see. I'm gonna pick a brown and a green here. Yeah, I think I'm gonna do that. This first one's from ColourPop. This is their BFF Creme Gel Liner. This one is in the shade Brew Haha. This was from like a set they had during the holidays. It's like a really deep brown black shade. Okay, and then the other one I have right here, this was the Raw Beauty Kristi in ColourPop. You can see that it is completely, the name's worn away. So I'm actually not sure what the name of this one was. It was the green one that come with the collection. I think it was Spare Time. But it's a really pretty green shade. So I think I'm going to include these 2. Include some liners this time instead of including some eyeshadow sticks. Okay, so I keep my powders way back here. But the 2 that I had in last time were this Refi one. This is a water-based powder. And then I had the CoverGirl Clean Fresh. This one was the translucent version. So I'm going to be putting both of these back. And we're going to be picking another loose and another pressed powder. I see some on top that I need to move right quick just so I can see what I'm working with here. I think I might include... okay, I think I'm going to include this one for my loose powder. This is the e.l.f. Halo Glow Setting Powder. This one is in the light pink shade, so I'm going to be including that one. Okay, and then I think... I'm trying to rearrange some here. Okay, now this is technically a foundation. This is the Baked Balance and Brighten Powder Foundation from Laura Geller. This one's in the shade Fair, but I have not used it in quite a bit, and I think I'm going to use it for a powder this time, like just kind of like a setting powder. It's a little dark for me. I wish now I had gone with the lightest shade that she has available, but I can make this work, so I am going to include this one. I haven't used this one in a long time, so I'd like to get some good use out of it. Okay, now back here, it's hard to see from this angle, but I have some face palettes back here. I'm not going to be picking a face palette this time, I don't believe. The one I had in last time was the one from Hourglass, the Jellyfish, which was the fairest option if you purchased them the way they came. So I think I'm just going to skip face palettes this month. There's not really one that I'm really wanting to reach for this month, so I'm going to pass on that. So that's this top drawer. So let's move on to my lower drawer, which has my bronzers, highlighters, and my lip products. Okay, in this drawer I have my lip products and my bronzers and highlighters. My lip products are overflowing. You can see that I have some, you know, spread out. I need to reorganize this. I did try to reorganize it some since my last everyday makeup drawer, but still a little bit overflowing. But I did have to actually extend another container for bronzer. For some reason I went on a bronzer binge and bought more bronzers, which is interesting for me to do that, but I don't know why I would do that, but I did. So I have two sections for bronzer, and then I have this teeny little section back here for highlighter. So we're going to start with bronzer. The last two bronzers I had in my everyday makeup drawer were this one from Lottie London. This is the coconut infused bronzer. This is Sunburst. And then I had the Say cream bronzer in the shade Fair Bronze. So I'm going to be putting both of these back. Okay, now I already know what powder I'm going to wear because this is the newest one to me right here. This is from Charlotte Tilbury. This is the Airbrush bronzer in the shade 1. This is such a lovely bronzer, and I've always wanted this one. I just kept putting it off because it is kind of expensive, but the Sephora in Kohl's near me had been out of stock of this for so long, and when they restocked it, I grabbed it. It is the most perfect shade if you have fair skin. Like you can see, it's really lightweight, it's soft, it's easy to build up and easy to use. So I am going to be including this one, more so because it's newer to me and I just want to get a lot more use out of it. But I have been really enjoying this one every time I've used it, and I love the packaging on this. For cream bronzer, I think I'm also going to use... not sure here. Okay, you know what? Yeah, I grabbed this one first. I'm gonna use this one. This is the newest one to me from Physicians Formula. This is their Mineral Wear Diamond Bronzer. This one is in the shade Bronze Gem, I'm guessing is the shade name. And it's a really lovely cream bronzer. It's actually, when I first saw it, I thought that it was gonna be a little bit too deep for me. But it blends out very well, and it's very pretty on the skin, so I am going to be including that one this time. This is another one that is newer to me, so this will be a good way for me to get a proper feel for this bronzer and be able to test it out more, because I've only used it maybe once or twice, so I'm going to be including this one. Okay, for highlighter last time I had the Physicians Formula Mineral Wear Diamond Dust, and then I had this Rare Beauty. This is the Silky Touch highlighter in Mesmerize, which is like the pinky shade, so I'm going to be putting both of these back. I'm going to pick a cream or a liquid and a powder option, even though highlighter is just not really a big thing for me anymore. I much prefer my other products to have some glow to them, but this little section back here is where I keep my highlighters. I don't have many powder ones, if we're being honest here. I just have a few that I kept. Okay, so for my liquid, I'm going to use this one from Charlotte Tilbury. This is the Beauty Light Wand in a Spotlight. I feel like this was just a little mini. Ooh, some. And I feel like maybe, just maybe, I can finish this one up eventually. It is a really pretty highlighter. I can see why many people like this one, so I'm going to try to get some more use out of that one. I'd like to get an empty, but I don't know. There's more in these little teeny tubes than I thought there was. Okay, for powder, I think I actually might use this one right here from Laura Geller. I don't have many powders. I just have this one, and then I have one from Wet n Wild, and then one back here from Unearthly, which is like a really sparkly. So I actually think I'm going to go with this one. This is from Laura Geller. This is the Baked Original Highlighter in French Vanilla. This is one of those that it doesn't have, it's basically like a matte highlighter. Can you kind of see what that does? Like, it's not glittery, it's very smooth on the skin. It's really pretty, but I haven't used it in a little bit, so I'm going to try to get some good use out of that one for sure. Okay, now lip liners. From that angle, you can't see my lip liners, so let me pull this container out. Okay, this is what I keep my liners in. These Rare Beauty ones are too long for this one, and this one is kind of too. So this is where I keep all of my lip liners. So, but let me show you the ones I had in my last one, and then we'll do some swatches of these. I'm not sure exactly which ones that I want this time, but I'm gonna go through that in just a second. These were the ones I had last time. I had the Freck Beauty Makeout Club one in shade 1. I had the Lawless Forget the Filler Definer Liner in Honey Rose. And then I had the e.l.f. Cream Glide Lip Liner, and this one was in Mauve Aside or Mauve Aside, whichever you say. So I'm going to be putting all 3 of these back. Okay, I took all the Rare Beauty ones out because I don't think I'm going to go for a Rare Beauty one this time, and they hide the rest of them. And we'll move that one too. That one's from LA Girl. Let's see. I want to use one that maybe I haven't used in a while. But honestly, I feel like with the exception of this red one, I rotate these fairly frequently. Let's see, what's this one? Okay, here's one from Laura Geller. Let's use that one. Since I've included a few of her products, let's use this one. This one is the Laura Geller Modern Classic Waterproof Lip Liner in Purely Pink. And there you can see it has a tip like that. So let's swatch this one. Yeah, that's pretty. I'm going to go for that one. So I'm going to include this one. I really love lip liners, so I'd like to include at least 3. So maybe one from Tower 28. So, okay, that was kind of like a really pinky rosy color. So how about this shade here? Yeah, let's go for this one. Okay, this is from Tower 28. This is their one-liner multi-liner. This one's in the shade Draw Me. And this is like a wooden pencil. These from Tower 28 are so good. Yeah, that's a pretty shade. Now, I will say that I really drew that in to make that darker, but you can really lighten this up on the lips if you go in with a light hand. So it doesn't have to be that dark on your lips if you don't want a lip liner that dark, but this is such a lovely formula. Okay, so I feel like I got like a pinky rose and then like a more brown shade. So I don't know if I have anything, maybe something more warm toned. I want one of these from Too Faced. Which one's this? That's Post-Op Pink. And then what's the other shade I have? Puffy Nude. Let me see what both of these look like. I think I'm going to go for one of these, but I'm not sure which shade. This is the kind that has a clicker on the end here. These are the Too Faced Lip Injection Extreme Lip Shaper. This one's in Post-Op Pink. These burn. These are a lot more... Oh yeah, that's it. That's the shade I'm looking for, because then I feel like I have something a little warm, then a cool tone, and then like more of like a brown nude. So yeah, I'm going to go for that. These right here they burn the lips. To me, they're a lot more stronger burning sensation than the actual lip injection glosses. So keep that in mind. If you're not into that, you will not like these. Like I can feel that right now stinging my hand a little bit. I'm just going to push through it because I want to match lipsticks to these. So, I mean, it's not bad, but I can feel a little bit of a tingle in it. But this is such a good lip liner. But just be careful because once you click it up, you cannot click it back down. Okay, for lip oil last time, I had this one right here from Colorspell. This was sent to me in PR. All the Colorspell products that I mentioned, they were all sent to PR. I want to make sure I mentioned that. And this one is the High Gloss Lip Oil in Twilight. So I'm going to be putting this one back. Okay, so these are some of my lip oils right here that I have sitting here. I might have some spread out more in here as well because I just tried to fit my lip products wherever I can get them. So let's see. Okay, I'm going to put this one back here. Alright, you know what? Yeah, let's use this one. I'm going to go with this one right here. This is from Kosas. This is their wet lip oil, and this one is in the shade Unbuttoned. I guess that's the shade name. This came in like a little birthday gift from Sephora. So I just picked this there was a little Kosas set that you can pick from, and I just picked this one, and this is a really, really pretty shade. Ooh, that would be really pretty with that liner right there. If you just want that liner and this on top, that would be really pretty. I have never used their lip oils before prior to getting this little set, and they're really nice. So yeah, that's a pretty shade. That's really pretty with that. Okay, last time for gloss, I had this one from Lawless, the Forget the Filler Lip Plumping Line Smoothing Gloss. That one was in the shade Glaze. And then I had this one from e.l.f., their Lip Plumping Gloss in the shade Sparkling Rosé. I'm going to be putting both of these back. Now this one was not in here. I had this one sitting up there alongside my everyday makeup drawer. I use this every single day. This is from Charlotte Tilbury. This is the Pillow Talk Big Lip Plumpgasm Gloss. And this one is like Pillow Talk for fair medium, I believe, or light medium. I'm not sure how. Let's see. Can I see that on there? Fair medium. Yeah. There's two different shades. There's the fair medium, and then I think the medium dark or dark deep. I'm not sure how she does the skin tone range, but there's two of these, and I want the other one too. I love this. I've been wearing this every single day since I purchased it, and I'm definitely including it for sure. I just think it's so pretty. It's definitely kind of like an icy, spicy kind of feeling. Like it feels both cooling and tingling. It's not like the worst thing, but I just always like to mention that because I know a lot of people don't like plumpers that actually cause like a tingling, but I love this. I want the other shade. The next time I go to the Sephora and Kohl's near me, because they had both shades in stock, I want the other one. I really love this. Okay, last time I had this right here from e.l.f. This is the Pout Clout Lip Plumping Pen, and mine was in Bust a Mauve, whichever one. I think that's the name. It is written in teeny tiny letters on the bottom of this, but I believe that's the shade name. I kind of use this as like lip prep, like almost like a lip balm, so I'm going to put this one back and I'm going to replace it with a lip balm. So let's see. Okay, now lip balms I have kind of in this little section here. Let me pull this out so you can see it too. These are like my lip balms, and then I probably do have a few spread out here as well. Oh yeah, there's one right there. I can see that one. Yeah, there's a few that I have in here as well that I just tried to make room. Yeah, I had this one from Summer Fridays in here too, so I'm going to put that one back. I'm not going to use that one this time. I think I'm going to use one from here. Okay, I'm not sure. Probably one of these mini CoverGirl ones I have because for some reason I hoarded all of these. I think I want something a little more, I'm not sure what shade I want. I guess it doesn't really matter because this is going to be more like lip prep. You know what? Actually, I think I'm going to go with this one. Okay, this is the CoverGirl Clean Fresh Tinted Lip Balm. This one is in Bliss You Berry. I believe this is the one that's kind of like a shade dupe for Clinique's Black Honey. Yeah, I'm going to include that one because this is such a pretty shade. And I think it would be pretty if you paired it up with that lip liner there and put that over the top. I think that would be really pretty. So I'm going to include this one. I struggle a lot with picking out lip products because I like all of these for the most part, but I try to just pick a few that I can really focus on because I don't want to have too many options and get overwhelmed and then not use any of them. So I'm trying to make sure I pick at least one each. Except for lip liners, I like to have a variety. Last time I had these two lipsticks from West Minnetelia. I had PK and Lacquer. These are so beautiful, but look at the magnet in them. They want to repel from each other, so I can't even put them side by side because the magnet is so strong. But I'm going to be replacing those. Now, lipsticks I kind of have here and spread in this little section right here. Like, I just tried to fit them wherever I could. This is messy, but I did the best I can for what I'm working with right now. So I'm not exactly sure what lipstick I want to wear. I might pick out the one from Laura Geller though, since I am using the lip liner from her. I'm not sure where it's at. Oh, there it is. Okay, this is the, what's the name of this one? Okay, Modern Classic Cream Lipstick. This one is in the shade Pink Passion. So yeah, I think I'm going to use this one. Very pretty. Yeah, I'm going to use that one. I feel like most of my lipsticks are about the same color if we're being entirely honest here. Okay, I'm not sure if I've included this one before in my everyday makeup drawer or not. This is from Lawless. This is their, okay, I'm not sure what the full name of these are, but it's their latest lipsticks. This one's in the shade Wedding Day. This is a really pretty shade, a very soft nude. And I think that would be really pretty paired up with some of these liners. And I can see that shade being paired up with this deeper shade, like, you know, line the lips with this, kind of, you know, add a little bit of depth and then put this over the top. I think that would be really pretty. I'm going to include that one too. And then I might pick one more. And I think I might go with one more on the brown side. So I'm definitely going to pick one of these from ColourPop right here. These were the ones from their 11/11 collection. Ooh, don't want to drop any. I'm definitely going to include one of these. These are all like brown nude shades, so let me see what these each look like. Okay, this one is in Digits. Okay, I think that, okay. Ooh, pretty. I want to look at all of these, so I'm just going to show you along with me, and this is my process. This is Feeling Angelic. This might be the lightest one, I believe. Pretty. And we have So Magnetic. And then we have the shade Aligned, which I believe is the deepest. That's pretty. That's a really pretty shade. Now this shade I probably wouldn't wear full swipe. I'd probably just kind of, you know, take a little brush and really blend it out. I might go with that one because I think this one, I don't ever wear this one, but that's pretty. That's a really beautiful shade. So you know what? Yeah, I'm going to include this one. Like, I think this is a really pretty assortment of lip products. So yeah, here are my lip products for this month. So that is all for the lip products. I'm going to move on over to where I keep my blushes and my eyeshadow palettes, and we will pick from those 3 drawers, and then that will be all my products for this month. Okay, here is my blush drawer. We have powders on this side, and then over here I have my creams and liquids. Now, the last powder blush I had was this one from e.l.f. This one was in this shade Blushing. Really pretty soft peachy shade. So I'm going to be putting this one back. Now, as far as powder, I'm not sure. I think... Okay, you know what? I might use this one. This one's newer to me. This is Rare Beauty. This is one of their new little powder blushes. Not sure exactly the full name. This one was in... What shade was this? Cheer. This was the lightest shade. Let me swatch that and show you this. It's really pretty, but you do kind of have to like a shimmer to it. It's not my favorite. I don't think it's bad by any means because it is a really beautiful shade, but it's not my favorite formula, but I haven't used it a ton. I think I've only used it maybe 2 or 3 times, so I want to get some more use out of it to really get my final full thoughts on it, so I'm going to be including this one. Okay, I think I might want to pick one more powder since that one's kind of almost like a powder cream hybrid in my opinion, so let's see here. I'm going to do one from Too Faced. Or one from LA Colors. I'm not sure here. I have a hard time picking blushes. Oh, I think I see one I might go for. Yes, this one. This is the Natasha Denona My Mini Dream Glow Blush. This has like the highlighter and then the 2 blush shades. So I'm going to swatch all through. I guess you can say this is kind of like a face palette, but I like to just swirl all the shades together, but I'm going to swatch them individually. It's probably hard for you to see that because I have my ring light on. I don't have that much natural lighting in here where I'm filming this part, so this is a really pretty, but I just like swirling them together, so I'm going to include that one. It's been a long time since I've used it. Honestly, I don't think I've used this since that one video where I was testing some of this collection out, so I'm going to be including that one. Okay, now I'm going to move over here to creams and liquids. Now, the last one I had in here was from Refi. This was their cream blush in Rose, one of my most favorite cream blushes of all time. I honestly hate even putting this one back, but I know I need to. I need to use some of my other ones. So I'm gonna lay that one right here to the side so I can go through. I want to use a Patrick Ta. I have some from Rose Inc. A bunch of these little e.l.f. Halo Glow Beauty ones. Okay, how about we use this one from Win Beauty? Because I've pulled out some other Win Beauty products, so let's use this one. This is in the shade Soar. This is like a liquid blush, but you can also put this on the lips. Put it down here a little bit because I did swatch all of there. And it's a really pretty shade. It's very pigmented, so if you are fair like me, then you definitely have to be careful, but it is so beautiful on the skin. It lasted all day every time I've worn it, and it's a really pretty. I'd like to see some other shades they have. I want to include this one. And then I might actually include one more, maybe like an actual cream. Yeah, let's do this one. This one's from Tower 28. This is their Beach Please blush in the shade Magic Hour. This is like a really beautiful nude blush shade. That's a horrible swatch, but you can see the tone. Yeah, I think that's a good one. I'm definitely picking out some more blush options this time, but I feel like it would be nice to focus on quite a few of them at least, give me some variety. So I like all of these, so I'm going to go with these four. Okay, now this is my high-end and indie palette drawer. I recently did a declutter for both my high-end and indie palettes, and then also one for my drugstore, with the latest going up this past Friday. I always link my declutter playlist in my description, so feel free to check that out if you're interested in any declutter videos. But I want to make this kind of, pull that out a little bit more so you can see. I want to make this a little bit more fair. I want to pick a neutral palette from either this drawer or my drugstore drawer, and then I want to pick a more colorful option because I don't want to just pick the neutrals because I know I want to, but I don't want to do that. I want to use everybody. Okay, you know what? I think I actually might make this drawer be my neutral pick. The reason why is because this is the Danessa Myricks Groundworks palette. This is the neutral one. I mentioned in my first declutter video where I decluttered my high-end that every time I had tried this palette, it wasn't really working for me that well. But I used a different brush that very day I used this palette and it went on a little bit better. And then on that same video, I got a comment from someone who very kindly suggested a way that I could use it in the way that she uses this palette. So I'm definitely going to try the tips that she left me. So I want to use this one. I'm going to get more use out of this for this month. So this will be my neutral. So from the drugstore, which will be in the next drawer, I need to pick a more colorful option. So I'm going to pick this one right here first. Okay, and then this bottom drawer is where I keep my drugstore ones. So it has to be colorful because I picked a neutral one. So to make this fair, I got to pick one that has a little more color to it. Who do I want to use? Okay, I'm thinking maybe one of these two right here. Okay, we have the Wet n Wild Cotton Candy Clouds, and then we have the Wet n Wild Care Bears palette. Both of these have more color to them. Alright, this is the Care Bear one. The only thing I don't like about this one is it's got pressed glitters in it, but I think the other one does too, at least one maybe. Alright, there's the Cotton Candy one. I don't know which one to pick. I feel like the best option would be the Care Bears because that one is definitely more colorful. This is a little bit more on the neutral, like if you cover up, I mean really there, that's neutral. So yeah, I'm going to pick the Care Bears one. So I'm going to try to use this one for this month and get some more use out of this. Because it is a really pretty palette. I mean, look at that packaging. Look at those sweet babies. So yeah, we're going to include this one. So now that I've picked out the two eyeshadow palettes, I'm going to be placing everything back into my makeup drawers. Okay, so it's time to put all the products back in here. The only things that won't fit would be the eyeshadow palettes, but I'm just going to leave them on the little table over here that I film at, so we won't be showing those. But let's go ahead and put everything back in these drawers. And there we have everything back in its place. Also, I realized while I was putting this drawer together, I forgot to pick out the other concealer. I always like to pick two. So the one that I'm picking is this one right here from Fenty Beauty. This is the We're Even Hydrating Longwear Concealer. Mine's in the shade 130W. So I had completely forgotten that. I realized it when I was putting this drawer together, so I'm going to be including this one as well. Okay, so now that my drawer's been put back together, I'm going to do a get ready with me using these products. So let's go ahead and get started on that. The only thing that I've applied off camera is my eyeshadow primer, so I'm going to go ahead and put on this Kosas. This is the Wet Lip Oil in Unbuttoned. This was that little mini size. I'm going to go ahead and prep my lips with that. It kind of smells like a little sweet scent to it. This is a really nice lip oil. Okay, the next thing I have right here is from e.l.f. This is their Stay Cool Priming Stick. Now, I put mine in the fridge for a little bit this morning, so it should be extra cold. Oh yeah, it's very cold. I mean, it's pretty cold on its own, but I noticed that it's not as cold as I guess it could be, so I'm just mostly applying that through right in here under my eyes, kind of like in my T-zone area mostly. It just feels so nice. It's just so cooling. And yeah, it's definitely something that would benefit from putting in like a skincare fridge or just your refrigerator. I don't have a skincare fridge, so I just put it right in my refrigerator and it's completely fine. I'm just gonna tap that in now, just You know, this would be the perfect primer for over the summertime, especially if you're somewhere where it's like really, really hot during the summer. I'm sure most places get pretty hot then, but I mean, you know, some people might have more mild summers depending on their location, but it's a really nice primer. Now, do I think it like extends makeup or anything? I don't know if it really does that for me, but I just like the way it feels, and I just think it kind of adds some really nice hydration to the skin, especially in this area, and I can get really dry on my under eyes, so I just like kind of placing it on before I do makeup. It just feels really nice too. Now I am going to be using this Danessa Myricks eyeshadow palette. This is the Groundwork Defining Neutrals palette. This is really such a lovely palette. It's really pretty, and if you watch my declutter video, the part 1, I did mention that I wanted to keep this palette even though it hadn't been working for me that well, but I've been using it a little more lately with different brushes, and I find that it's easier to apply. I did have someone comment on that video kind of giving me some tips on how she applied hers, and she loves her palette. She has this one and the other one as well, and she mentioned Rephr brushes. Now, I don't use Rephr. They use animal fur with their brushes, and I just don't use those types of brushes. So this brush right here, she mentioned a really densely packed brush, and I have this one right here from Merit. This is their little eyeshadow brush, the one that has the double-ended, and this one has been working really well. So I'm going to work with more so the little powder sides this time because I do have the other eyeshadow palette that I want to use. So, okay, I'm going to go in with this shade right here in the powder form, and that one is the shade Desert. Now, for me, I'm just going to press this all over my lid. I just want this color down everywhere. I am going in with a more colorful shadow today, but I want a base down first, so I'm just going to be really stamping this around and then kind of lightly blending. I will say that even though this palette is working a little bit better for me with this method, it's still not a favorite. It's just, to me, I don't know. I just don't really want to have to put this much effort in an eyeshadow palette for it to work for me. And it's not that, I mean, that sounds really lazy. It's not that much effort, but I mean, I've really been loving the quick and effortless makeup looks lately, and I just feel like with this palette, I do kind of have to work a little bit more with this one than you would a regular palette, so it's not my favorite, but I am glad that it's working better for me than it was. Okay, then I'm going to take the shade Sandstone, and I'm just going to take that and kind of go around the edge of that other shade, like right out here, just to make sure it's blended a little bit better. Of course, any excess that comes out here, I'll be cleaning that up with some concealer. Okay, I'm going to go in with the shade Sculpted, and I'm going to press that a little bit on this outer edge, keeping most of that pigment on the lash line, and then start kind of working that shade up more into my crease area. I'm going to move on to this Wet n Wild and Care Bears, and I'm going to take this shade right here, this pretty blue. I'm wearing a blue dress. Now, it's not exactly that blue shade, but the shade above it is a pressed glitter, and I don't really want to use that shade, so I'm going to take that on an E45 brush from Sigma. And I'm going to tap into that shade. These are really pigmented shades because I believe these are pressed pigments if I'm not mistaken. So I'm going to then press that. Oh yeah, I'm going to have to go back in because it's not coming up that well. Of course, I want it to be a wash of blue. I don't really want it to be full-on pigment. I'm not liking that. I did a look similar to this yesterday, but I used a really pretty green shimmer in here and it looked way better. This shade is a little too dark, so I'm afraid it's going to make it look kind of muddy. Well, you know what? I'm going to just see if I can pat something over the top of it, but let me just go ahead and just keep this. I'm not going to add any more. I might put something over the top of it because I'm going to have to, because that's a little bit muddy looking to me. Okay, I'm going to take this E57 from Sigma and I'm going to go in with this shade right here, and I am going to be spraying my brush with some setting spray. Okay, let's try placing that over the top. Oh yeah, that helps. That's prettier. I'm just take that brush and kind of tap right here between where those two shades meet, just to blend it a little bit more. Okay, I'm going to curl my lashes, and then I'm going in with this mascara from Fenty Beauty. This is the Hella Thick Volumizing Mascara. I just have like this really teeny little mini size of this that I got with points on Sephora, so I'm just going to apply that one. The 2 times I've used it, it's been pretty good. Like, I haven't had any flaking or anything like that. It doesn't hold my curl, I feel, as good as some of my other mascaras I've used, but my lashes are very curl challenged, and I feel like only certain formulas will really hold them into place. Well, I don't know. I feel like it might have done a little bit more length than I give it credit for. Not bad. Of course, I know with mascaras, the more you use them, the more you really get a feel for what they're like. So let me just apply one coat over here, and then we'll go ahead and move on to my face. Okay, I'm going to move on to foundation. I'm going to be using the About Face, the Performer foundation. Mine is in the shade F2 Olive. And I finally got my other little brush from Refi, the little complexion brush. And I am so excited to finally use this. I love their other brush. And this coming Friday, I will be having a video go up trying some new products from Sephora. This is an amazing foundation. This is amazing. I don't know if I've used it on a long form video yet, but I know I've done a short on it, and it is so good. So good. Oh, I love this brush. Yes, to this brush already. It's blending that in like a dream. Of course, now this foundation is easy. It just blends in with no effort at all. You know, I used not to care much for these double-sided brushes like this, you know, but now I like them because I feel like, you know, you could have less brushes too if you want to. Now, I'm saying that while I have a bunch of them sitting right over there looking me in the face, but I just like them because I feel like, well, you don't need that much many. Like, I feel like with these two brushes I have from Refi, plus that little brush from Merit that has the double-ended, I like them both. I would love to have another dual-ended eyeshadow brush that's made like this, but it has much more of a fluffier side to it, like maybe kind of like the two brushes that I used from Sigma. I would like to have a double-ended brush that has brushes like this on both sides. Okay, that brush did a good job, but I always go back over any foundation with my sponge. This is just the Real Techniques double-sided sponge, which I really like. I've sprayed it with some of my setting spray. I'm just using the Rare Beauty one, by the way. Okay, for my concealer and corrector, first I'm going to go in with the Milani Under Eye Brightener. This one is in the shade Rose. Now, this is one of those that had the little sponge tip applicator, but I took the sponge tip off. I do not like the sponge tip applicators. They're just not for me. I applied a little more than I wanted to, so I'm just going to blend that out first, and then I'll go over the top of it with my concealer. I'm just going to use this side of the little brush. I really love this brush. I feel like it blends out the product so easily. Of course, I always go back over with my sponge. This is just something I like to do. It's not really necessary though from what I'm seeing, but I still like to do this anyway just because I just like to make sure that my product is really pressed into the skin. And this still has setting spray on it, so I feel like it helps set it. Honestly, I feel like I don't even have to go in with concealer, but I'm going to. And the concealer I'm going to use is this one from Fenty Beauty. This is the We're Evening Hydrating Longwear Concealer. Mine's in the shade 130W. I like this concealer. If you completely saw when I was picking out products, I always pick two concealers out for the month. I completely forgot to pick out this one. I don't know what I was thinking. I pulled one concealer out and then just completely forgot to pull another one, but I ended up including it at the very end. But I do like this. So far, so good. I've used it a handful of times and I really do like it. Blend that out with this brush. I love this brush. I had planned on saving this brush and using it for the first time in my video that's going to go up this coming Friday, but I wanted to go ahead and use it because I love this brand's brushes. I know they don't make eyeshadow or anything. I wish they would, like, at least make maybe some single shadows or something and come out with a brush that would be an eyeshadow brush, because if they come out with a dual-ended eyeshadow brush, there would be my brushes and that'd be all I'd ever need. Okay, I'm gonna go in with my e.l.f. This is the Halo Glow Setting Powder. This is the light pink shade. I'm gonna go ahead and set my T-zone and everything because I am just going in with some powder products. I used some creams yesterday from my drawer, and this time I really want to use my powder products that I picked out. Like, I'm talking more about the brush than I am the actual makeup. But now this is makeup that for the most part I've pretty much already tried and I know works fine, but this brush is amazing. And I learned my lesson this time. Don't apply your brows until after you do your powder. I always forget, and then I fix them, and then I go in with powder and ruin everything. I'm going to go back in with that shade Desert on the Sigma E45 brush. And I'm going to run that on my lower lash line. I'm just going to take a small amount of that. I don't want a lot. Just add a little bit of definition on the lower lash line, just a little. And then I'm going to go back in with that mascara. Next, I'm going to go in with the Charlotte Tilbury. This is the Airbrush Bronzer in the shade 1, which is fair. I really like this bronzer. And I'm going to go in with this Refi brush, which has more of this fluffier end. I'm thinking I'm going to also use that for the that might be too dense for a powder. So yeah, we're just going to use this side. I'm going to lightly apply this bronzer. This is such a pretty bronzer. It took me a long time to finally try this one. I know that this one has been out for a long time and I hear many people talk about it, but I never got it, simply because well, it was kind of pricey. But then I say that, but then I spend a lot on other categories of makeup. But I guess it's because it was a bronzer and I'm not the biggest bronzer person. I mean, I do wear it, but it's not like my favorite thing ever. I much prefer blush. Okay, I'm using the CoverGirl Clean Fresh Brow Filler Pomade Pencil, and this one is in the shade Dark Brown. This has one of those little brushes like this, kind of like that on the end. Not my favorite, but it works, so. And I can always go in with a spoolie if need be. It's not that big of a deal. Okay, I'm back after some delay. I had to charge my camera's battery. I completely forgot to do so. I'm going to take this from CoverGirl. This is their Clean Fresh Brow Enhancer Gel. This is just like a clear brow gel. Now, it does not have the hold that my Refi does, so what I'm going to do is just place this like on the outer part of my brow. And then I'm going to place the Refi one on the inner part. It has pretty decent hold, but just not enough to keep these brows up the way I like. I'm going to take the Refi and just fluff this part up. For my blush, I'm going to go in with the Natasha Denona My Mini Dream Blush. And I'm just going to swirl this brush like through all of those. I didn't want too strong of a blush, especially since I'm wearing blue on the eyes. And that's one thing I like about this brush too. It applies products a lot more soft because it's more on the fluffier side. It's not like a densely packed brush. I just don't want a lot of blush today, especially with this blue. This is one reason why I love doing these everyday makeup drawers, because you remember products that maybe you haven't used in a while that are lovely. I have not touched this blush, I don't believe, since I did the video on this collection. And that video was a while back. For my lip liner, I'm going to use this one from Too Faced. This is their Lip Injection Extreme Lip Shaper. This one is in Post-Op Pink. This is kind of like a really pretty nude shade, so just line my lips with that. Okay, and then for my lipstick, I'm going in with this one from Lawless. This is in the shade Wedding Day. Okay, and there we have this full face of the products that I picked for my everyday makeup drawer. I do hope that you enjoyed today's video, and if you did, I hope you will please consider leaving a like, a comment, or subscribing if you haven't already, and make sure you hit the bell notification so you are alerted to all of my future uploads, and follow me over on Instagram at jessicadeerly, and I hope to see you in my next video. Bye!